Hi, my name is Karen. Welcome. I now go by Karen with a Y. That separates me from Karen, which is a popular name spelled Karen. But my name is Kar with a Y and N. Easier to identify me is with Karen with a Y. Karen with a Y. I'm going to talk to you. Recently in the news and situations you see on the television and news and all, people are starting to have questioning a very serious topic. And it has to do with our mind. All this dementia, all these different thought processes change in the environment. Some people are affected one way, another person affected another way. So, anyway, I'm here to talk about mental health, also known as mental illness. These are very special people. They don't hurt anybody. They don't do bad things to people. They've stopped. Sure, 20 years ago, 30, 25, they were not on the meds that matched their needs to keep the mental health in check. So, they have better medication this day. Okay? And more and more people have the illness, but they're not yet ready to talk about it because it's sensitive material. When you say someone has a mental illness, that gives you a title that shows and says, "Oh, she's mentally ill. She did that. She must have did that. It was her wrongdoing." No, no. It's terrible having a mental illness, but with the right medication, the right, the right way of being, acting, behaving, the mind affects the whole body. So if there's some damage to the mind, your brain, that could have an effect on your behavior. With psychotherapy, they help you to keep your thoughts under control. Yes, that's right. Helps them keep them under control. A lot of these people who have mental health concerns developed it usually when they're young because the life they lived was too violent for them to adjust, to show and be the beautiful person they are. Look at the soul, not the actions. Look at the soul. Help the soul strengthen and become more and more powerful in your body. And then you're going to see. If you look around, you better see that some people don't dress nice and they apply that to the mentally ill. No, that's not right. You can't say that person's mentally ill where they have this in their hands or that. It's more and more people developing mental health concerns. This is the way I explain it, what it is. I did research. I did do a show. Not show. I gave a speech to a group of people in a residence for the healthy people. And they don't think correctly. When they're on the meds, they do, but sometimes you don't think correctly, and or at least we think they don't think correctly. They're interpreting the message in their brain, talking to your heart and your mind. The brain has a lot of difficulties, but the brain is not damaged. It's mixing up the messages they receive. We need to keep the mentally ill suppressed I'm going to tell you something very serious, and listen carefully. When the people are usually are people who are beaten as a young child, told negative words, and causes effect of a delay in the mental growth of the body and brain. It's not their fault being that way, but when people, years ago, they used to say, don't, they would be off, not being able to function properly as a result of being abused as children. Some did it later on. Maybe your job caused it. There's nothing wrong with going to have a situation where you go and you speak to people, talk to people. But these people, their whole body and soul was come inside them more, avoiding any kind of setting. And they have people who can't think correctly. Now they do. Or they have to take his medicine. Don't be afraid of it. Don't let what do they call it? The reason why they have the illness, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. And you can live with it, fine. It's when I was off the medication, it's when I didn't live properly. I just kind of sat around. And people, we must not get angry yet. People have mental health concerns. We have to stand up and show them the right way to be. By example, be patient, understanding if they're not in control. We could help them to regain control of their thoughts and ideas. I spent the night walking around a table at night, balancing the meds with my surroundings. And I was going around and around the coffee table. I had all this strange energy, power, thinking. It was just distorted. Take a little medication, and then you think clearly. I don't think that's so bad. And it affects the mood. And you have, here you go. Okay. You have the center, okay, between the mind and body. The mind and, body. Life. One over here could be a minor mental health concern. But there's somewhere between here and that baseline. So it isn't to say, okay, right here they have a mental illness. No. The mental illness grows and develops over time. And then when you're abused, you turn everything internal. All your thoughts are internal, intrinsic. And then you have nobody to talk to give you a chance to be understanding, comprehend, and make the necessary adjustments to be healthy. So, we got center. Over here is somebody who is very little health issues. And then from here to the right side is also illnesses, and these would be mental health issues. So everybody should think that we're all in one place. And it's the environment of their life. The environment of everyone is in within us all. It doesn't take to have abnormal thinking. And look, why do people like taking drugs and alcohol? Non-prescribed drugs and alcohol. So that's the story about that. You take the medication, and if you don't take your medication, you can really start feeling it, but it'll make you so fast, so far, so much that you can't function. People I know, they're full of love. It's the illness that hampers their way of life. There are several different types of mental illness. Every one of us has some sort of mental illness. I know you don't like hearing this, but it's true. Sometimes when we talk about people having messages, like someone's giving them thoughts, if medication stops that, makes you control your thinking a lot better. I'm going to get into, next show, I'm going to get into mental illness situations so you can have a better understanding, recognizing it. I'm going to tell you something else. These people are so intelligent. You get the mind and body united as one instead of hearing voices and your own thoughts. They are brilliant. One of the highest level of beings to get knowledge to enhance us, to make ourselves a better person. And in the process, they're spiritually weak. So that brings in negative energy. What we call negative energy, I call it. But it can be changed, and you don't have to live like that. You have a mental illness, you're not taking medication, it's dangerous. It's very uncomfortable for the person. So what's going on is they're talking and interacting with the other side. And they just can't comprehend and take it in and take that knowledge to be used in a great way for all others. People, remember, the people who are severely mentally ill needs our prayers. It's a cop-out. Would you rather go to a psychiatric unit in the rest of your life or in a regular jail? Prison. Most of the concerns are outside people, physical world. They can't cope. It's only emotions and behaviors. But I see a lot of people doing really well once they take the medication and stay on it. Now that person who has a mental health problem doesn't mean they're going to be violent. Most of them are loving and caring people, and they don't know how to interact with people because people see they're weak, and the people, an average person, looks upon them as being weird or odd, you know. They're not. They'll give up on them. They get a lot of messages. Once their distorted thinking is put together, they have good ideas. And why they're slow in their thinking, that's a medication. So that the mind doesn't rev up and move and think clearly and think of everything, keep going and going and going. That's a detriment to that person and all others. I don't see too many people who have a mental health concern doing assaults, fighting, or doing harm to another person. Remember Freud? Freud talked about mental health back in the late 1800s. And he wrote about it. And as time went on, people got more and more understanding. Then the government stepped in and made it a negative thing for these people to have a condition, mental condition. And they tell the whole people, Freud, that's not true. And government prevented Freud to continue what he was doing. But don't get him totally free, because what happened is you got the medical field wants to experiment on somebody so that they could learn about our mind through tests, abnormal tests. And they use it because they usually don't have any people with them, other people. And they single them out. And they do experiments on them because in today's society, these people are mistreated in this way. They don't have any money. Very few have relatives because they're not interested in listening to how they speak or what they say. Sad. They're not bad people. The government told them they were bad people. They said it was this case. But how much did the government really know about mental health? Not many back then. People with a mental health. Well, mental health is Mental health is a condition we all have and understand what it feels like at one time of their lives. And it's taboo to get mental health help. One of our brightest people in the world have a mental illness. And they'll be receiving messages from the heavens. There's a connection. Wake up, people. These people aren't to be worried about being negative force, hurting other people. The person they hurt most is they themselves through suicide. That's all. No, I shouldn't say that's all. That's pretty serious. And that day, when I was walking around the coffee table, I couldn't tolerate it. It was bad. It was really bad. So I went on the couch and curled up and stayed like that till the next morning. That's when I really decided I need help. As a matter of fact, I was changing the medication and doing this at home where the one medication was taken away for a new medication. So you have this medication that works, that's pulling them one way and the medication goes the other way. So that you could bring all the energy together. Take medication, speech, talking to people, with a counselor. It all helps. Because you want to keep your mind clear. And talking about your feelings and emotions, which you should have learned when you were, before you had the illness, and from the illness to the situation where you're doing better, but you can see yourself getting better. But when you don't have the medication, it's very, very concerned situation. I've done amazing things in my life. I listened to them. I didn't listen to the bad. I was able to still distinguish between good and bad behavior. And I went on the medication, went back on the medication, different med, felt much better. Sure, there's side effects, but they have medication for that too. Be not afraid. Also, don't be afraid of going to counseling. It's okay. It's the thoughts that are distorted. Get them focused in so you can think clearly. Because when you have thoughts, they're not bad thoughts. They come from the heavens. It might be a negative energy that's trying to influence you. The medication keeps the negative energy away from you. Stops it from disrupting your thinking. So next show is going to be on description of mental health illnesses. I'd like to talk to you about that. And anytime you want to talk, call me. I have a Facebook page. I have a website. Contact me. Look at me. People want me helping the government. I spent 22 years interacting with President Clinton, President Bill Clinton, and we exchanged. He didn't write back much, but I wrote to him advising what to do, give him ideas. I didn't tell him what to do. I just gave him ideas how to get things over. And this is when he was taken out. He retired from being a president. That man was special. I don't want any harm coming to President Bill Clinton or Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. What they've done for our country is better than, it's so much better, incredible, the work they did. Bill, listen to me. We kept a lot of pandemics from happening. A lot of diseases were prevented because he went to a country where diseases come from, healed the people, found ways to make them feel better, and not to let that illness, doesn't have to be a mental illness, any type of illness, from taking away the person's life. So he was a good president, and even better, as a statesman. He was really, he helped a lot of people. He believed in me, my ideas, because I was on medication. My ideas and thoughts were clear. And they helped me. It would have been nice if we had some money for it. I don't have any money. I work for God. I don't work for God. I work for Jesus. The superior entities were high-level beings. They guided us. They helped us. Bill and I helped everybody from going into World War III. We stopped. It was a Cold War. I'm having difficulty working with President Trump, but we're connecting. I'm going to work with him. He just doesn't know what to do. He's got the possibility of helping people. He just doesn't know how. So I've decided to work with the Republicans. Democrats haven't shown a very good candidate to win this country, won the world. So that's about it. Do not do bad things to people who act differently than you. And many of the people in the medical field are like that. They're caring, loving people. And they know how to take care of people who aren't thinking correctly. Don't mock them, belittle them, or demean them. You pick them up, make them feel good. And then you talk with them. And they have a lot of good ideas and a lot of good things they can change to make it better for themselves and for all others. Be nice to them. Don't assume already that person has a mental illness. No. Distorted thinking. Once you get the thinking under control, then they can do some pretty good things for the people of America. They're not listening. The rich people don't want them to stay negative, like a low life they turn. Very bad. That's mess. That's very bad way of talking about them. But they give out ideas and thoughts and help our government, our country, and everything else. They talk about voices in our head. Find out what. And then we got to talk about exorcisms too. I'll do that in the next show. Again, this is Karen with a Y. God bless the USA. God bless America.